I had one thing in mind, is to find 3 exceptional coffees, Typica Mejorados from different parts of Ecuador, so we can do this very special release. Would love people to be able to taste this varietal that's coming from different terroir, different soil conditions, different altitude, different climates, and also all wash process coffees, but slightly different variations of these wash process coffees. With this release, we'd love to provide education to what Typica Mejorado is, where it comes from, and how amazing this coffee tastes like. I'd love to take you back in 2018. This was my first visit in Ecuador. They wanted to bring as many coffee professionals from all over the world to taste the coffees and provide the feedback. And I remember going there for the first time. I came with this profile over and over again, florals, jasmine, mandarin, and I was convinced I'm cupping Geisha. But after several sessions, I was actually told it's Typica Mejorado. So I wanted to find out more history about it. What I've learned is that Typica Mejorado is actually got nothing to do with the current Typica coffee. When we usually drink a Typica coffee, which is, we have Typica and we have Bourbons. Typicas are very chocolatey, they have a lot of body, they're very sweet, they're beautiful, round, classic Arabica coffees. Typica Mejorado was very floral, very jasmine, very sort of silky, champagne-like. So I actually found out that Typica Mejorado was brought by Nestle back in 60s, 70s. They've started a big research and development farm in an area in Pichincho in Ecuador, where they grow so many different varietals. Typica Mejorado is an Ethiopian Helum varietal that's crossed with Bourbon, so it's a hybrid of these 2 coffees. So we know that Bourbon is really sweet. It's got that beautiful, beautiful, crazy sweetness, and obviously Ethiopian Helum varietals are very floral. So that's when it started making sense why Typica Mejorado has these crazy florals, like we would normally drink in Yogurtchef with wash coffees and etc. But the funny story is the reason it's called Typica Mejorado is because one of the people that was working in Nestle farm, he also had his own farm. So he managed to take some seeds. He kind of wanted to make sure that he can separate these seeds, and he calls them a little bit differently. And he decided to name it Typica Mejorado. Mejorado in Spanish means bettered, improved. So this is Typica, like his own coffee, but a little bit better. So that was his own, I guess, signal and sign to know that this coffee is different than the other ones, but also did not want to expose where the coffees come from in case he gets in trouble. In my opinion, I think the varietal itself, even though with a lot of amazing producers that have been pushing and promoting this varietal so well, I feel would do a lot better if it had a different name. It would easier hedge higher prices, curate more interest, and most importantly, less confusion about what this varietal is, where it comes from, and how it tastes like. So the first coffee is up in the north of Ecuador. It's Finca Soledad from Pepe. Pepe is running an amazing farm there at super high altitude, a lot of forest, a lot of shade, and his Typica Mejorados are one of the best Typica Mejorados I've ever tasted. He's done incredible work by doing his fermentation processing and the drying coffees in the closed environment, and this really contributes towards to higher sweetness and more creaminess in this coffee. So when you're tasting these Pepe's coffees, you will be able to see that beautiful florals, that amazing mandarin floral orange notes, almost like jammy or marmalade, with that great texture and sweetness, almost like honey texture. So coffee is absolutely stunning, and that's a tribute to his amazing terroir, high altitude. Something that you will also notice that the beans of Typica Mejorado on Pepe's farm are really nice and long. That's because his soil is so healthy, his root system goes really, really deep. Coffee cherries spend a lot more time in that environment maturing, allowing these beans to be nice, elongated. They almost look like a geisha, some of the beans. So keep an eye on the beans when you open up the release as well, and compare the sort of the sizes and the screens and the colors of them, because they will all be different because they obviously celebrating different terroirs. The second coffee is coming from the central part of Ecuador. It's very close to a beautiful town that's called Cuenca. Now, the owner of this farm, that's La Papaya, his name is Juan Peña. Juan Peña, in my opinion, he's like a godfather of coffees for Ecuador, and in particular, he's the one that made famous Typica Mejorado coffees. So you remember the story when I was saying that the farmer that used to work with Nestle coffee and he took the seeds from Typica Mejorado? Well, Juan Peña was his mentor and also mentor of so many other coffee producers all over Ecuador how to grow this beautiful varietal. What he does successfully on his farm is this most impressive irrigation and also the fertilizer system that I've seen. So his entire farm is linked with the two pipes, and one of them has a water irrigation, and he has a system inside of the farm that's actually saying the amount of water, amount of rainfall he has, and when the trees actually need the water, he'll adjust that system and the coffees will start receiving the water, making sure they get beautiful flowering, beautiful ripening. He's also got the fertilizer system where he can actually see the amount of fertilizers are available in the soil currently. And if they have deficiency, for example, of magnesium and calcium, he will be able to see it and monitor. And within his office, he can adjust the system to be receiving these fertilizers to allow great production, great maturation, and also great quality. So he's one of the few people that can manage the high yield, high quality, and also really high score of the coffees. I'm really excited about this coffee. I would recommend you, if you would like, when you're tasting all of three coffees, start with Juan Peña. As I mentioned, he's the reason why Typica Mejorado is so famous, and he's inspired many people like Jose Luis. I know that Jose Luis has spent quite a bit of time with Juan Peña, learning from Juan Peña how to grow the coffees on a higher level, improve the productivity, improve the quality, and not only him, but so many other ones. Juan Peña also not only grows amazing coffees on his farm, but he actually supports so many other neighbors with Typica Mejorado seeds, as well as improved practices how to ferment and also dry the coffees. So he's an absolute rock star. He's a legacy for the Ecuador, and I'm so excited to have him in this release as one of the main stars. Okay, so our third coffee, we're gonna be driving south, all the way to south of Ecuador, southern region of La Loja, very close to Peruvian border. And we're gonna be featuring coffee for our longest relationship from Jose Luis. His farm is called Hacienda Santa Gertrudis. My favorite farm, definitely in a way, because I have done so much work there with Jose. We've done a lot of processing together, a lot of fermentation, with a lot of experiments, and also a lot of drying together. Now, Jose has a very high humidity there during the night, which did not really allow him to get full potential out of his coffees. But after collaboration, after a lot of Zoom chats and a lot of WhatsApp calls, he managed to install the humidifiers in the room, and that's giving him exceptional results with the coffees. And this year we've selected this particular Typica Mejorado from him because it has a very unique flavor profile. I believe that unique flavor profile is coming from several things. Number one, obviously the region and the terroir. Jose Luis picks his Typica Mejorados 4, 5, even to 6 months per year. So most of the other farms, they would have a harvest for 2 to 3 months. Jose Luis' harvest extends. You would be able to see on his farm the flowering and the green cherries and a lot of red cherries. And this is what gives him these unique qualities. Now, unique qualities that I'm tasting in his coffees are not your typical Typica Mejorados, your yellow florals or jasmine notes, or mandarin characters and creamy and silkiness. We have a lot more in his coffee. It's definitely, for me, flavor explosion. When it comes to flavor quality, by far most unique cup out of our selections, because it has these beautiful green florals as well, almost like lemongrass, quite a bit of like sorbet lime, almost like matcha on the aftertaste, and eucalyptus mint fresh qualities, as well as usual citrus notes. And I'm also tasting quite a bit of apricot stone fruit qualities as well. It's definitely are different than the other two Typicas. If you would like, feel free to cup all of these coffees blind and try to pick which coffee is from Jose Luis. And by looking for these notes, I'm sure you're going to be able to find the cup. See, Ecuador as a country is a very small country. The standard of living in Ecuador is higher, and minimum wage is a lot higher than with the neighboring countries like Colombia, or Peru, etc. So Ecuador cannot compete with these countries producing a lot more coffees. In my opinion, what Ecuador can do so well is to produce highest quality coffees in Latin America. We all look at Panama coffees, how amazing they are and how great prices they're hedging, and also experiences that we have when we drink these beautiful coffees. Ecuador can be next to Panama, and the way it can be done is throughout the amazing varietals and celebrating them, such as Sidra and Typica Mejorado. So I really hope that you not only enjoy these beautiful coffees, but you share them with your friends, you share them with your loved ones, and we can celebrate the work of 3 of these amazing producers. And also, there are so many other amazing producers in Ecuador that are growing these beautiful varietals. And with this release, we can encourage these producers to continue growing these beautiful coffees so we can enjoy them worldwide. Enjoy it, and thank you for being part of this very important release for us. Thank you.